It is officially summer here in central Maine and all of the relevant numbers are out. We're going to break them all down for you today. Stick around, we have your July market update coming out now. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is your central Maine realtor, Nick Isgro with eXp Realty. And as I just stated at the beginning, it is your July market update. Summer is now in full swing. We just crossed the 4th of July here in central Maine. What's going on in the housing market? As always, we have all of the numbers you need to be the most educated buyer or seller, or maybe just an observer in the market right here in central Maine. Before I get into that, I want to welcome you here to the channel. If you've never been here before, we cover all things real estate here in the state of Maine, but particularly right here in the central Maine market. Now, if that is of interest to you or adds value to your process in the buying and selling of homes, do me a quick favor, go ahead and like this video. Hit subscribe, knock that little alarm bell. You'll be notified every time we put out new content. Now, as I break down these numbers, as always, I just want you to look at a couple of things. One, I want you to look at more of the trend lines that you see as opposed to the actual numbers. But also, sometimes it takes a few of these as we get through to put the whole thing together because we may land in a place that you don't really expect. So just keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this. Now I want to start right off at the top with new listings. So new listings would be any homes that came onto the market during the month of June. Coming into the month of July, how many new listings did we get? Let's bring it up right now. 198 new listings during the month of June. Now take a look at this. Yes, look at the trend line, certainly on the upswing. That's the trend that we like to see. It's what we hoped for actually as we came out of last month, hoping that the spring market would really finish out strong, take us into the summer with some new listings. We got them, but still 275 the same month a year ago. So drastically lower than where we were a year ago. Nothing new here. As you know, from month to month to month over the last several months, we've been saying far fewer listings coming onto the market than we saw a year ago. And that really has impacted sales numbers as we've gone through. Let's see if that happens now. We'll get into sales numbers. First, we'll take a look at the pending listings. That's all of the homes that went into contract or into escrow during the month of June, and now carrying into the month of July, we expect them to be closed sales. We'll also take a look at closed sales to round out that picture. Pended listings, 99 pended listings, not really what we were hoping for. It's actually a dip from the month before, so slower activity going into pended. What we can't tell from this number is how many cash transactions may have occurred during the month, because often you'll go into escrow and out of escrow into a closed sale with cash during the month, and we are seeing a lot more cash sales. So that would be certainly an interesting thing to break down in another video. But take a look at last year, 153 in the same time period. Although we could say that this is relevant to the number of new listings. We saw a big drastic drop in new listings from where we were a year ago. If we're looking at the year over year numbers, it would make sense that the pended listings would also year over year see a fairly similar drop. I think that's what we're seeing here. Probably things going okay. All right, we're gonna jump right into sold listings here. Take a look at this, 148 sold listings. These are sales that closed during the month of June, 162 the year before, so not really far off, really. A little bit fewer, but with fewer listings, that makes sense. But by and large, this is a very strong number when we consider that amount of new listings coming down. Year over year, sales still trudging forward, looking very comparable to the year before. So we have added some more listings. We had fewer go under contract during the month, although we did have some strong sales. What's that doing to overall inventory? Let's bring that up. Take a look at this. For you buyers out there, you're not gonna wanna miss it. 239 listings, just over 240 year over year. Take a look at this. We are exactly where we were a year ago. So headed into the summer, not a bad place to be. And if you're a buyer that's out there, maybe you've been in the market, it's been very frustrating, that inventory that you wanted to see hasn't really been available. Now it's starting to open up a little bit. We're seeing those inventory numbers bounce back, not to super high levels, we'll get into that in a second, but roughly to where we were a year ago. Certainly, look at month over month. Month over month, we have a lot more inventory than we have had in quite some time. Speaking of inventory, where are we? Let's bring that up right here. Just under 1 month of inventory on the market. So by no means is this becoming, I would say, a buyer's market. That would have to be about 6 months of supply on the market, but less than a month of supply, a little bit more than before. But one thing to notice is if you look at the trend line over the last year, yeah, we had some times where we dipped really low, times where it went just slightly over 1 month, But at no point in the last 12 months have we ever been in a situation where we had lots of inventory or buyer's market. You know, we had a market shift last fall where we saw a slowdown of buyer activity hinging on those higher interest rates. Doesn't seem to really be making a large long-term impact on the market, simply because there's still not a lot of people selling their homes comparably to the people looking to buy them. All right, now we're going to jump over to what everybody I'm sure is waiting for, and that is pricing, because this is where all of these numbers that we're looking at come together. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. What is going on with pricing? What's happening with the sales activity? First, we're going to look at days on market. So this would be the average number of days that a home that's coming to the market sits on the market here in Central Maine before going into escrow and headed towards a closed sale. So looking at days on market, check this out, 17.7 days on the market. So big drop from the last couple of months. We saw that 1 month a couple of months ago where we spiked up to 60 days on market. Then it was 40 some odd days on market. Then the 20s, now we're below 20 days on market again. Again, exactly where we were a year ago. We had about 14 days on the market year over year, but this is an indicator that those buyer cycles are heating up, that new homes are coming to the market and they are getting purchased in a very efficient manner. So if you are a buyer on the market, the news here is that don't take too long before putting in an offer. And if you're going to put in an offer, you know, check to see what has the interest been. Do you have other offers on the table? It very likely could be a competitive scenario if things are moving this fast. If you're a seller, it means get your ducks in a row, because your home might sell very quickly right now in the market. So what's that going to do to pricing? Things are moving a little faster. That obviously should put some pressure on pricing. We're going to look at the sale to list price ratio. This is how much of the listing price is the home selling for. Check this out. No surprise, based on these other numbers, 102% of the list price. So once again, we're back in this place of homes on average here in Central Maine selling for more than what people are asking for. That means that we're seeing competitive scenarios return. We're seeing multiple offer scenarios. There's another video I've done on that recently if you want to know how to create a good acceptable offer in a competitive offer scenario. But for this, you know, be ready, put your best foot forward, and be prepared in a lot of cases to offer more than the asking price. And by the way, if you're a seller, the news here is you can probably stick pretty tough. If your home is priced appropriately, if you're seeing lots of that activity, you can probably hold the ground and be very firm in the price that you're asking for. Last thing is always going to be the sold median price here in Kennebec County, bringing this up right here, just under $300,000, $299,950 to be precise. Of course, what I really want you to look at here is not the specific number, because it's actually not that important in this case. Look at that trend line, a little up, a little down over the last 12 months. The big story here is that this market is stable. So what is all this as we wrap this up? And I think this is a good way to end it on this specific number here, as we've gone through the listings and we go month to month. Some months we have more listings, some months less. We're looking at sales activity heating up. It looks very cyclical. It's about to what the market looked like last year as far as days on market, people going over the asking price again. But when we look at this median sold price, the pricing structure is really one of the most stable things in the market right now, as we've seen over the last year. So there's a lot of headlines out there. You're going to hear that either homes are not selling, we're selling fewer homes. Well, yeah, that's true, because there's been fewer homes coming to market. We heard a lot of catastrophic talk earlier in the year about the interest rates and market crashes and recessions. None of that has had a major impact here in Central Maine. That is the takeaway. The takeaway here is the Central Maine real estate market is strong and it is stable. That is really it. That's what I have for you today. A quicker market summary, because there's just not a lot going on. There's not a lot to break down and to get too in-depth below the surface, because the story somewhat tells itself in a month like this. But we're headed into the summer. I don't know what's going to happen over the next couple of months. It could slow down. It could stay hot. What do you think is going to happen? Would love to hear your predictions, or maybe you have some experiences you'd like to share as you're out there navigating these crazy markets. Go ahead, drop a comment below. Would love to hear from you. Of course, as always, if you guys are looking for a real estate agent, a real estate professional to either get a referral to, maybe you need to get hooked up with a lender, maybe you need somebody to just talk through the process with, or maybe you're actually looking for someone to represent you in a transaction coming up. All of my contact information is linked in the post below. Reach out, would love to chat with you. Of course, as always, I thank each and every one of you for sticking around to the end of this video, and until the next one, I'll see you next time.